Hey guys, Lila here. So in today's video, I'm going to give you some tips and tricks on how to buy and sell stocks. Now I know that the stock market can be very intimidating, but once you get the hang of it, it's not too bad. So first things first, you need a place to buy stocks from. There are several websites out there that are specifically designed to help you buy, sell, and trade stocks. There are ones called like E-Trade and Scottrade, but I would not recommend that for beginners because I believe both of those websites have a $500 minimum. And if you're a gambler and you want to throw caution to the wind and say, check it out, go for it. But I would not recommend that for beginners. A website I would recommend for beginners is called ShareBuilder, sharebuilder.com. It is owned by Capital One, and I believe they charge you $10 per transaction, and they may have a $4 surcharge on top of that. But $14 versus a $500 minimum is better in my opinion. So, second thing, you need to decide which company you want to buy stock from. Now, this one's entirely up to you guys, but I would do research on the company. I would pay attention to their stock patterns, how much it fluctuates. All you have to do is just Google Apple stock, and it should pull up. And not only will it pull up, but it will also pull up articles that pertain to that stock. And I would definitely read those articles and see if the stock is going to go up or down, whether they're predicting it will stay the same or not. But yeah, I would definitely pay attention to what the company you're interested in is doing, whether they're going to release a new product. And keep in mind, when a company releases a product, that doesn't necessarily mean that the product is going to do well. It could be a total flop. And of course, whether it succeeds or whether it's a flop, that does affect the stock. So once you have all that figured out, the third thing you want to do is decide how many shares you want to buy. And this, has to do with how much the company you're looking into is charging per share. So if a company's share is $30 and you want to buy 3 shares, that's $90. So yeah, so you have to decide how many shares you want to buy. You don't want to buy a ton of shares and then have the company go under. So just, be prepared. Stuff like that happens all the time. What I do is something called predicting trends. I'm looking at a certain company and trying to decide, what is the company up to? What are they doing to bring in sales? For example, when Microsoft and Sony were planning their Xbox One versus PS4 release, Sony stock went up. Microsoft stock went down when they did that whole, oh, well, you can't lend your friend can't borrow a game and because we're going to charge you, or you can't buy a used game because we're going to charge you. All that controversy, that they did with the Xbox One affected the stock. And not only did it affect the stock, it affected the stock quite a bit. Their stock went from $60-something a share down to $30-something a share. And that's pretty dramatic. Which, by the way, if a company stock does go down to that certain price point, that's the time to buy. Buy, buy, buy. Buy low, sell high. Yeah. So that's something I would try. Is, if you're looking for a company you want to buy, let's take Coca-Cola for example. I would try and buy Coca-Cola stock in January when people are drinking coffee and hot chocolate and hot tea and all these other hot beverages because they're trying to keep warm. And then I would sell the Coca-Cola stock in June, July, or August when people are consuming a lot more cold drinks. But that's just, my opinion. But yeah, I would definitely try something like that. Another thing you need to look out for is if a company is publicly traded or not. Not every company is. And another thing you need to look out for is how the stock is affected once they become publicly traded. For example, when Facebook became a publicly traded company, their stock plummeted by a lot. And when Twitter became a publicly traded company, theirs was fine. So these are definitely things you need to look out for, especially when dealing with something as tricky as the stock market. But there you have it. That's my advice to you guys for the stock market and how to buy and sell stocks. Let me know what you think. Comment, subscribe, like, dislike. Yeah. All right. Bye, guys.